What's happening, everyone? We're here with another episode of the Past the 40 podcast. My guest today is JoJo St. Clair. JoJo, how are we doing today?
We are good. We're excited. We're
We are.
speaking in the third person. It's great.
That's when you know that the guest has come to
The
play.
party is starting.
Right off the bat. Speaking of the party started, I actually said to my
Your
wife,
shirt.
I said my shirt is my festive party shirt.
It is.
I said to my
on.
wife the other night when I was putting together the questions that I felt your presence through our communications, and I felt that I needed to step up my game. And on top of that, you are the style whisperer, so I
So
felt
this
it was
is like the
necessary.
Sixth Sense or something, and I'm
Yeah.
like a ghost.
I don't know about that, but
The fashion ghost.
if that's how you want to take it, yeah. Just something inspired me to throw
I'm
this shirt on
always
for
with
this
you.
interview.
I'm always with you.
Where are you calling us from today?
I am in the happening suburbs of Atlanta where the cows come to play.
Is that right?
They don't.
What?
It's goats, but same difference.
What's the name of the suburb that you're in?
It's Fayette County, so it's like not even 20 minutes more like 15 minutes from the airport going south. But they have blue ribbon schools in this district, so that's where we parked it.
Sounds good. Are you ready to rock with your 40 questions?
I'm not sure, but it's happening.
But you're going to do it anyway.
Let's go.
That's a good attitude. We just jump right in. All right, let's do it. You are a vlogger, right? So you're, I guess, comfortable being on video, audio, speaking in public. What is your vlog called, and how often are you posting content there?
So I am a vlogger, and no, I'm not comfortable doing it. I kind of force myself to do it. It is an uncomfortable space to be in because I'm not the person that wants to be the center of attention. I'm the one that is like on the side, like, oh wow, that person is the center of attention. So I'm doing the vlogging because I feel like compelled to share what confidence building kind of tactics and lessons that I've learned with women and men who are looking for that same confidence that really you need, especially when you're inundated with images that can make us feel self-conscious. So I push myself to do the vlogging, and I hate it in that I am putting myself on Front Street, but I love it because of what it brings to people. And not to sound self-inflating, but what I do is I give people a smile when they look in the mirror. And that's something that is okay if I'm a little uncomfortable in front of the camera. If I get that, that's awesome.
For sure. What's the name of the vlog, or the is
So
it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, and I also house them on my website, which is afterthecarriage.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also taken to lately doing more nugget level, like 1 to 2 minute vlogging on Insta stories, because it's so, chock full of imagery, and it's very, very simple to latch on to people through Insta stories. So I found myself lately not doing as much vlogging on YouTube as I've been doing on Instagram. But I think I'm going to go back to doing some vlogging, but in a different format in a couple of months. So it'll be a little surprise that I'm going to unveil. Maybe you can help me with that.
All
but
right. Well,
so we're going to change the format up a little bit.
We'll talk about that after the show. You in your headlines, you mentioned style, fashion, the French, wine, bacon, the Eagles. You have a lot of things that you seem very passionate about. So how do you answer when someone asks you what your passion is?
The easy answer would be life. But I think my passion is being happy and serving others. I think if I had to choose one little teeny tiny nugget, that's what it would be. Because, there's so many things that make me happy. So we kind of cover that. But then serving others, I think, is a part of what humans are supposed to do, why we are here. And if I'm doing that, then I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. So that would be good.
Awesome. If you could give a TED Talk on any subject, what would it be?
Oh gosh, forget everything in your 20s. That would be the subject of my TED Talk.
How does one achieve such a thing?
Well, if you watch Game of Thrones, apparently you have to be killed by a dragon. But if I were to give a TED Talk, it would be a tie between forgetting what you thought you knew when you were in your 20s, because it kind of, you usually are setting yourself up for disappointment. Your expectations are so immature. So I would say that. Or how important it is to be confident every day and how to look your best, how looking your best translates into kind of that brand that you, whether you like it or not, you represent a brand every time you walk out of the door. And so knowing the importance of owning that brand every day and not discounting it, I think is huge. That covers every demographic, every geological, every socioeconomic background. Everybody needs to know stuff like that.
What are you most excited about right now?
Man, I'm most excited about what's next. I never know what's next. I think I know, but then something happens and it doesn't go the way I planned, and I'm like, oh well, the way it shook out was kind of cool. So all right, let's go. I'm just excited about what's next. I never know. I like when my plans get jacked up because they usually turn out better.
What what's your go-to karaoke song if you have one?
Oh, you know what? I've never done karaoke.
Never.
Never.
Wow.
Uh, unless the shower counts. I don't think that counts
What's
because
okay? What's your go-to shower song?
my go-to. Oh, okay. I can really lay it out on Florence and the Machine. She has a song with Calvin Harris. What's the name of it? Oh my gosh, I had it and I can't remember what it is. Uh, Love, something about love. Okay, I'll remember it. I'll come
Something
back to
about
it.
love, Florence something or other.
Yeah, but Florence and the Machine. So I pretend that I'm singing just like her, and it's pretty bad, and I would never do that in front of an audience, but that is my go-to.
Got it. Let's say you were going on a road trip from Atlanta to one of your old stomping grounds, DC, and you have to bring 3 people with you. Who are you taking in the car ride? Not family members,
So this one was hard.
of course.
I have two that are slam dunks. So Elon Musk would be one for sure.
Okay.
And then Kevin Hart because I just want to laugh the whole time. And then the third person was a tie between Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss.
All right, you're right in my wheelhouse there, and I'll tell you that our last guest on the show had Kevin Hart in their car as well.
Really?
Yes, yes, they went all fun though, all 3 fun people. But so Elon Musk, are you driving a Tesla on this on this road trip?
Yep. Is that bad?
Well, what's going on lately with him and them and union stuff?
Oh yeah.
Little too
No,
real, little too real
I'm
for this
Team
topic.
Tesla. I'm Team
You are
Tesla.
Team
So
Tesla. All
yeah.
right, so it's a Tesla with Elon Musk, Kevin Hart, and either Tony or Tim for, I guess, just
Yeah.
positive reinforcement and
And learning.
life optimization on the
Yeah.
car ride. What are 3 words that your best friend would use to describe you?
Let's see. I think funny as hell. Oh wait, words. I'm sorry.
So
Uh,
funny, but you can add
Funny.
parentheses
I would
as
say
hell.
hilarious. I would say hilarious because I make all of my friends laugh a lot.
Okay,
Um,
hilarious.
and I would say uh, fashionable, of course, uh, and driven.
Great, hilarious,
I hope
fashionable,
they
driven.
would agree.
That works. We can ask them after the show.
Right.
What's a pet peeve of yours?
So this is another little weirdo quirk. I have no ability to hear people chew. It's horrible. It's debilitating to be the person that can't stand chewing, but I literally cringe.
So you are able to hear people. You just can't stand it. It
Oh,
drives you
physically, yes,
crazy.
I can.
I
I'm
thought I thought you were
sorry.
saying you were
Yeah,
like
no.
totally shut off, like audibly it doesn't register when people are chewing
Oh, I
around
would
you.
love that. I would love
It's
that
it's
skill.
the opposite of that.
It's the opposite. So, yeah, I have a unlovable pet peeve because if you are the receiving on the receiving end of my reaction when I hear you chew, it is not There's no pretty faces that are being made at that point.
Right.
I just cringe. It's like, to me, it's like scratching a chalkboard right next to my head. So that is a pet peeve that I really need some help with.
Yeah, I don't think you need help with that. I think that the chewer needs the help, because I have a specific friend is jumping into my mind right now who I can't stand eating next to, because it's the same thing. I don't have it with everyone every time I'm listening to dining with anyone, but there's one in particular that stands out right now.
Oh gosh, I never want to be around that person. That would be my own personal death.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
Oh my God. The worst job was when I was, I think, 14. My church, again, I grew up, I didn't mention, I grew up in Philly. So, it was the summer, and my church had this, I don't know, evangelical push that they were going for. So they hired their parishioners, teenagers, to go out and hand out flyers based, about Jesus. um, Now, that's all well and good, but when you're 14 and it's the summer in Philly, the last thing you want to do is go hand out flyers about Jesus to people that you know in your neighborhood. So it was hot. I just remember being hot and walking around, all the like the big thoroughfare streets in our neighborhood within like a 20 or 25 block radius. I mean, we were hoofing it, and you had to be gone a certain amount of time unless you didn't want to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a stack of maybe 1,000 a person, and we had to hand these things out. 97% of those pamphlets were in the trash at the first block, because I'm not the kid. I'm not doing it. But I really, really want money for the summer.
Of course.
So I did that, I think, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks before I'd had enough. I was like, it's not even worth it.
You know what? To get your worst job out of the way at age 13 or 14 isn't that bad.
It was bad. I just remember being hot. And I was like, what am I doing handing out these people think I'm nuts. It was crazy.
What's something that hangs on the wall in your home?
We have got 2 huge flags that I think are most sentimentally attached. We're most sentimentally attached to the American flag and the Marine Corps flag. And the story behind that is my husband is an inactive Marine officer, and the flags flew at the station that he was posted at in DC at 8th and I. And so we have actual flags. They're enormous. But we have actual flags that flew at 8th and I in DC, and they sent them to us, and we have them hanging on our wall, and they're huge. They make a huge statement when you walk in the room, and there are these 20-foot ceilings, and you see these enormous flags, but also sentimental because they were at 8th and I, and they were given to him at a time where he had just come out of remission from cancer. So it was a very sentimental kind of gesture from them. So we love him. And of course, he is very much all about the Marine Corps. So it's something that has a lot of pride for him and for us, because the flag is front and center in our house. I think teaching our boys that those are some things that are not only important to us as Americans, but also to what my husband has done and sacrificed his time and life. That's pretty awesome. So that's if I had to pick one, that's probably the first one.
Good. That's a nice story. How old are your boys?
They are 5 and 6, and they are bananas. They are, wow, they're a lot, but I love them. I pulled them out, so I got to keep them.
Got to do it. You are a purveyor of fashion hacks. Mm-hmm. Self-proclaimed. Give us 40-somethings listening here a hack that we can all use in the fashion world.
A hack. I would say the most kind of prominent thing that comes to mind is don't get stuck in a rut. Don't get stuck in a fashion rut. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over because you think it works. Try something new. Try a new. Some people. I just left the nail salon a little while ago, and she said, the technician said, I don't wear anything but black, white, and gray. And she said that to me a couple of months ago, and I was so just I was heartbroken. But when I came back today, she showed me a picture, and she had on gray, but she was wearing a pink bag. And she was like, look, I'm trying. And I was like, yes, you go. Just that one thing. I will take that. So she said, yeah, you gave me such a hard time that I had to try something. And I'm like, just try something different. There was 10 years ago in my 20s, I had a thing against pink. I would refuse to wear pink. It's the way my former tomboy is set up. I wasn't able to wear pink at that stage of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But, push yourself to try something different. Break out the hydrangea button-down shirt. Like, do something different that makes you slightly uncomfortable, because when you're comfortable, you're not challenging yourself. So that's really what that lesson is about.
That's true for any part of life, not just the fashion, not just the fashion world. What are you curious about these days?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question. What am I curious about? I'm curious, if I could get kind of a little deep, I'm curious about what this period of history will ultimately say about our country and about society and in America specifically. Is this a turning point? Is this a marker? Is this a harbinger for something that's coming? What is it? I am afraid, but but also curious, and I don't want to get political, but I'm like, what is this preparing us for? That's what I want to
know. Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but
yeah, I see you making that face. So.
No, listen, I'm sure most people listening are thinking a lot of those same thoughts, and I hope what it's preparing us for is not too late too late to recover from. But yeah, I think we're all kind of curious about what the hell is going on here. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given, or something that has stayed with you?
I'll tell you something. And actually, I only heard it a couple of days ago, so it doesn't check that box. But there was somebody I was talking to, and they said, yeah, I have this friend that I always go to. They always give great advice, and the guy he's actually 95 years old. And I was like, you call a 95-year-old guy your friend? He's like, no, yeah, like, this is my guy. And I said, well, what is it about this guy? And he said, one day he told me, some people don't like crying. I'm one of those people that don't like crying. It's the way my Philly is set up. And he said, crying is a way for the body to cleanse your soul. It's necessary. It's a fact of life. It's like needing sunshine. Your soul needs to be cleansed, and that's what crying does. And I thought about it, and I was like, wow, that makes total sense. Like, it's not a negative. It's not something that hinders some sort of emotional process. It actually helps it. It is necessary. It's almost like a maintenance, like an oil change or something. So I kind of have, since the other day, I kind of looked at crying in a different way, because I don't watch the news anymore, because anytime there's a story about a kid, and it's usually negative because that's what's on the news, I immediately start crying. And I'm like, okay, no more news. News is done. Can't do it. But yeah, so it's like crying is necessary. And I'm like, all right, I'm with it. I can do that. So I'm going to change that about myself. Good.
That sounds like a positive piece of advice that came your way.
You're welcome.
So everyone listening, let out a good cry the next time.
Right,
don't hold it
Not
back.
Not right now, though. That would be awkward.
You're a huge Eagles fan, so congratulations on the Super Bowl.
Thank you. Thank you for being gracious.
Donovan McNabb or Randall Cunningham?
Cunningham.
That was easy. You didn't have to think twice about that.
No, I didn't have. No, not at all. Cunningham. Cunningham was one of the, if not the, he was one of the first quarterbacks of his style to change the paradigm. He changed the game, much like Randy Moss changed the game for wideouts. Cunningham changed the game for not just the Eagles, but quarterbacks in general in the NFL. They started game planning around him. And that's when I came to age around the Eagles. Quarterback was number 12. So that's my guy.
I was a huge Randall fan growing up. And I wasn't
Yeah?
I was not an Eagles fan. I was a Jets fan back then, but he was the guy that stood out to me in the league as like I love watching that dude. Like
Yeah.
I think McNabb is awesome too and underrated, and I think history treats him unkindly. Actually, I think he was a really good player, but
I agree.
I'm a big Cunningham fan. Love the way he played.
Yeah, I agree.
If you could relive a single day from your past exactly as it happened the first time, what day would you choose to experience all over again?
Okay, so this one was really hard because naturally someone should say, "Oh, the day my kids were born, it was amazing." But the question said everything, and I never,
exactly as it was.
yeah, I never want to feel that pain ever again.
Right.
Even round two, I was like, "Dang, this is a terrible idea."
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my answer would be my grandfather died very young, or when I was very young. He died when I was 10, and he was like my bestie. So I would relive the last entire day we spent like going off, and he would also always take me and like do stuff, like outdoorsy stuff. So I would probably relive our last little outdoor adventure because I'm kind of too young to have
remember it.
Yeah, a lot of memories, and I wish I could remember more.
Nice. What is your wine of choice, or does it vary depending on setting, food, mood?
I just like the ones made from grapes. I mean, it doesn't. I'm equal opportunity over here.
Doesn't matter, just as long as it's
red, white, domestic, European, Latin. I could care less as long as it's rocking and it's made from grapes.
Sounds good to me.
And it's fermented. It can't be, grape juice. It needs to be the good stuff.
What is something that all 40-year-olds should go and do or try ASAP? A call to action for the 40-year-olds listening.
Call to action. Do something. I mean, do something new. Challenge yourself. Set a goal and do something challenging. Learn how to ride horses. Learn a new language. Get a certificate online in being a masseuse or a yoga instructor or something. But set a goal. Challenge yourself to do something completely outside of your wheelhouse, and then do it. And then make a habit of it.
Is there something that you've taken on like that fits into your definition there? Like you were uncomfortable with something and you said, I'm just going to go try it and do it, and then it became a habit?
I used to laugh at people who took yoga. I thought it was, for hippies. I thought, again, when you're in your 20s, these are kind of things you think about. But I thought, it's corny. It's, a bunch of hoopla. It's a fad. And when I tried it, I was pleasantly surprised. It was something that had I remained closed-minded, as I probably would have been earlier in life, but I was in my late 20s at the time, and so I was much more mature, and I decided to try it, and I've been doing it for probably 15 or 20, no, not 20, probably 15 years, 10 or 15 years now, and I absolutely love it. I laugh, I scoff, I'm ashamed of
yourself.
My previous position.
We all get older and wiser with certain things like that. You mentioned the 20s a couple times today. So, but before you wipe that decade out of your brain because you wanted to get rid of it, how did you celebrate your 21st birthday?
I remember my mom came down. I was living in DC at the time, so my family came down. My mom and my dad didn't. My parents are divorced. I think my mom came down with my brother and sister, but I saw my dad later. But they came down from Philly to celebrate with me. We went to my favorite restaurant on the Potomac River. And I had champagne in front of my mother, which was so much fun because she's a bit of a prude.
So that was
And
the
so
first that was the first
when
time
I
that.
ordered it, I was like,
Right.
pinky out, like making these little sassy faces. I think she slapped me in my face anyway, but it was it was a fun day, and they made a poster size collage of my life. It was adorable. I don't know what happened to that collage, but it is gone. But it was just the cutest thing ever. I don't remember what I did that night, but it was probably some debauchery involved.
Yes, I imagine so. If you could work for any person in the world, who would it be, and what job would you want?
Who would it be? I I would work for my man Elon. I feel like he's our Tony Stark. And I'm sure other people have come up with this little comparison before, but I just feel like he's our Tony Stark, and he's got the right either PR firm, or he actually is this person that's forward thinking and puts society and the Earth's best interest in general. He's an innovator, and I love being around that kind of creative person that's not satisfied thinking in the box. They're just like, what box? I love those kind of people. So I would love to hang out with him and have a cheese sandwich.
A cheese sandwich, is that something that he likes or you like?
Everybody loves cheese sandwiches. Well, except for vegans, but everybody loves cheese. Who doesn't love cheese sandwiches? That's the one thing you connect on is cheese sandwiches and wine.
I like some meat with my cheese in the sandwich.
I mean, but
I don't go with just cheese sandwiches.
What if you don't know if he's a meat eater? Then you brought the prosciutto and you're like offended him. So, but if you bring cheese, he's like, sweet, I love cheese.
So you're in charge of the lunch menu for this sit down.
I told you I'm a foodie. I mean, cheese sandwiches.
Cheese sandwiches and wine with Elon Musk. Change the world. Who doesn't love cheese?
But I would grill the bread though. Make it a little, fancy.
Yes, grilled cheese we can all get down with, I'm sure. When your boys turn 40, how do you want them to finish the sentence? The most important thing my mom taught me was what?
I thought you were gonna end with this one. I'm not ready. Oh, you interviewers. What would I? Oh gosh. I hope that they say that. Wait, is it taught me or about me?
Taught me.
Taught me. That she loves me no matter what, and to be the best person I could ever possibly be, whatever that looks like. Gosh, I hope they say more, but I think that's kind of what.
The question asks for the most important, so they probably have a whole laundry list, but they had to pick one for this for this question.
I hope so.
Who is your celebrity crush?
This one was hard too. It was up there with the kid question. I have a very unfair benchmark when it comes to crushes. I think if I had to absolutely pick, and I had a gun in my head, I would say Jim Caviezel. He's the guy. So he's an actor. He hasn't been in much of note recently, but he played a long time ago. He played Jesus in, I think, was it I don't remember, but he played Jesus in a movie, and I'll Google it. But I was like, wow, he's amazing. And I just saw him the other day after you sent me those questions, and all the feels came back, and I was like, it's Jim.
It's him.
Jim.
He came to you.
That is the one. There are very few people that as soon as I see a movie with them in it, I watch no matter what.
Yeah.
He would be one.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened to his poor career, but he's easy on the eyes for sure.
If you could have a drink, a glass of wine with a fictional character, who would that be?
The Passion of the Christ. That's what he was in.
Ah.
He played Jesus in that. Apparently, he hasn't been doing much lately. I'm sorry. What was your question?
If you could have a drink with a fictional character, who would it be?
I'm going to go back to Game of Thrones. I want to sit down and have a cup of ale, I guess they had back then, with Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. I just think she's a bad bitch, and I just love her.
I don't watch. I don't watch the show. Shockingly, I'm one of the few.
What?
I'm one of the
I'm
few.
sorry. Is this thing on? Did he say what? What did you? What?
Yep. I'm.
All right, over. It's ridiculous. I need to do my research. What?
I'm saving that one for the next time I get mono or something like that.
I'm sorry.
Haven't watched it. We all miss things, you know. There's certain
mononucleosis.
Yeah, I don't never had mono. I'm just kidding. I'm saying for the next time I'm like laid up in bed for an extended period of time, which is hopefully never. But yeah, never got to it.
It's way more entertaining than that, though. Like, if you have mono, I feel like you should watch like What's Happening for like 5 days, but not Game of Thrones. This is up there with like, I don't know, like tithing. Like it's up there.
Yeah.
Okay, it is. I'm going to hell.
Understood.
It's not up there with tithing. It is not. I am so sorry. It's not up there with tithing. But it is a requirement. If you are someone who does not like yourself or happiness, then don't watch it.
Someone who does not like themselves?
Or happiness.
I do enjoy myself and happiness. My wife is not that interested in watching it.
Oh, so you don't watch it by marriage. Okay.
Well, partially, and because like I didn't get in from day one, so like to dive in at any point in the last couple of years is a big commitment to like start from day one. So yeah, just it's one of those things that is on the list I just haven't gotten to yet. It happens. You've got them too. I'm telling you.
No,
we all miss.
That's the number one.
We all
the number one. There's nothing else. Chris.
There are movies and albums and TV shows that everyone has their thing. Oh my gosh, you've never seen this or you don't watch this. Everyone's got them. So
nobody's got Game of Thrones. Nope.
All right. So you enjoy your drink. you enjoy your drink with your ale with your fictional character. Let's move on then.
They make ale with grapes, right? Okay.
A Francophile. What's something that the French do right or well that we can't get right or just don't do at all here?
Butter. They do butter right? Like a rock star. Like their butter is lit. It tastes like unicorns and angels prayed over it. It is the most delicious thing. Unicorns don't pray, but in this instance they do.
For French butter they pray.
Yes. Yeah. French butter is just because it's in everything, so they've got to get it right?
Is there any French butter in the U.S. that works, or you have to be on location? You have to be in the country, and it's just next level. Yeah,
they got their butter game right because they put butter literally in everything. They put butter on their plants to help them grow. I think it goes in and on everything. It's a staple. They've got to get it right, and they nailed it.
All right. Would you rather die in 25 years with no regrets?
Oh, this is morbid.
With no regrets, or in 50 years with many?
Aren't you Debbie Downer today? Let's see. Would I rather die or 25? I'd have to go for the 25. It's hard to say, but yeah, I'd rather go for the 25.
I think that's most people's initial reaction. The couple times I've asked this question, I think people say 25.
Why initial? Did they change it later?
Well, no, I'm just saying I obviously have more time to think deeper about these questions because I've been asking them for, a long time. So I may think differently about these things.
Okay, what's your answer? Well, you've opened it, so now I have to ask, what is your answer?
Yeah, I think recently I decided that it's 50 with many because, like I said, we all miss things, and I realize that regret's just a part of life. So, like, I'm going to have regrets no matter what. So I'd rather take the extra 25. Like, 25, 50 more years means that I get to see both of my sons turn 50, and like I would trade that for the regrets that I might miss in
Ah,
there,
okay. You had
the
to throw
things
the
I
kids in
miss.
there, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I mean
Now,
they're a part of it. Sure. See,
yeah,
this is what I mean, where I've had more time to
right.
deliberate on these type of questions. Where this is when I just
Uh,
throw at people in the moment, and it's like, yeah, I don't want regrets, no regrets. But I think we all do have regrets, and it's just kind of part of it. Like
it's true.
I might not watch Game of Thrones in my life, and that's a regret. But
Oh,
you know
don't
what?
go back there. I can't. I moved on. I can't deal with it. I can't.
What's a piece of advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Uh, that advice would be don't sweat what you think is important because it's not. I think that what you realize as you get older, more than anything else, is that you change your mind about what's important so much
For
that
sure.
when you put so much kind of equity into those things, you hurt yourself like mentally and emotionally. That was for nothing. You know, the boyfriend that, was cheating on you, or, the when you didn't get into the school you wanted to get into, or the job that you wanted to, ultimately going looking back, it worked out for the best. But at the time it was like, oh my God. And no, that's not the case. So
Right.
that's what I would say to myself. Don't
Nothing.
sweat stuff that you think is important because it's not.
Nothing is that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Fill in the sentence. I'm not as blank as I used to be.
Flexible, dumb, uh, skinny, poor. I mean, there are so many.
There's a lot. Yeah.
A lot.
Those sound like you're making improvements though.
Yeah, I that's the one thing I would approve of myself, is that 10 years ago I would have said, as long as I'm growing, I don't care what's
Right.
changed. So,
Good.
yeah.
You should keep saying that. Is there someone in your past that you feel you owe an apology to?
Oh man. I cut somebody off on the highway trying to get back home so I wouldn't be late for the interview. They really I owe them a sorry. I'm not sorry.
Anyone else?
I'm really sorry. Anyone else? I'm sure there is. Um, hmm. Can we go back to that one?
Sure. Maybe there isn't anyone.
I'm trying, like, most of the people that I should have said I'm sorry to, I have.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of, like, who didn't make the cut?
There you go.
Who didn't answer their phone that day?
Maybe they didn't deserve
Right.
it.
Oh, or there's that. You are a savage. Wow. Okay.
It's the shirt. This is bringing out this side of me. Is there a specific skill that you want to acquire in the next 40 years of life?
Specific skill. I would, let's see. So there's a bunch of cool stuff out there, but I would really, when I was younger, I rode horses, and I haven't done it since I was, 15, and I would love to start doing that again because I completely forgot how to ride. Other than I know how to get on the horse. I remember how to clean it, but I would love to start riding again.
Now that you have experience as a parent, what is something looking back that your parents did really well?
I think that the one thing that was consistent throughout my childhood is that we always had people around us that loved us, and we felt that. We being my younger sister and brother, I always felt loved, no matter what. We obviously had tough times and great times, but we always had a great unit around us, that kind of cocoon that protected us from someone else's perspective. Could have been challenging experiences, but for us, I think that cocoon is what allowed us not to turn into a bunch of nutballs. Like, the three of us are doing very well. My biggest, I think, compliment to them is putting the right people around us, almost like an extended family. I think was awesome, and I hope, and I've tried to do the same thing for my kids. So I think that was pretty rad.
What is something that you've tried that you'll never ever try again?
Oh man, there's so many of those. Let's see. I had I had a horrible I had a horrible experience. Um, don't laugh, but I had a horrible experience eating clams in Bethany Beach, Delaware,
Hmm.
in the 90s. I almost died. I still get a cold sweat when I think about it. I almost choked on a clam. It was probably the size of my fist.
I was gonna say clam is a tough thing to choke on because it seems very
No,
slippery.
this thing was enormous. I don't know how a human was supposed to eat it,
Yeah.
but what I was told was, oh, you just slurp it down and you swallow it. Well, it was so, I'm like, I don't know. These clams were literally like the size of a hockey puck. And to this day, I refuse to eat mussels, clams, or oysters.
So that just got shellfish just
That just did it.
completely out of your life.
Did it. I'll have some fried oysters, but I will never like pick up a shell and new because like I'll black out. Like I can't. I have PTSD. Don't have clams at Bethany Beach.
That's fair.
It's
Too
bad.
big. Bethany Beach get some smaller clams. What the hell's the problem out there, you guys?
Damn you, seafood
What's
Channing.
going on in the Delaware waters? If you won the lottery tomorrow, what are 3 things that you know you would do with the money?
I would carve out a trust for the kids because I think that generational wealth is something that is important and isn't something that's really common and people don't really talk about it. Maybe they do it, but they don't really talk about the importance of generational wealth. But I would carve out a trust for them. I would be the number one parishioner at my church because I would make a big check, write a big check to them, and they would like be on call for the next 20 years for me. And third, I would invest in either nonprofits or companies that do something that either brings water to villages that have no water or brings electricity to places that don't have electricity or cell phones to marginalized communities or internet connectivity or something. I would carve out like almost like a venture capitalist fund or something like that for that purpose because again going back to leaving the earth being in service, I just feel like that's something that's an enormous kind of calling for me. And then like maybe 4th or 5th down the line, I'm doing some major shopping. Like I am slaughtering the internet for.
I was about to say, well, I was going to extend the question to say, all
Well,
right,
you said
what's
3.
one thing you're going to buy for yourself at least? Because the 3 things were all, giving away money.
Yeah. No, I can't answer one thing.
Just shopping spree, fashion related.
It wouldn't be spree. It would be plural. It would be continuous, repetitive spree after spree. I would have a meeting on my calendar like shopping. That's what I would do. That would make me so happy.
An ongoing spree.
Yeah.
What's the best compliment you've ever received or can remember that stands out?
Oh, okay. So certainly in recent memory, the best compliment that I got was actually from a client who said to me after, we had a little session and she said, you won't believe how many compliments I get when I walk out every single day, all the time. And it makes me feel so good about myself. It makes me feel like, I'm smarter, more beautiful, more elegant, all of those things. And she was like, the reason I have this confidence is because of what you taught me. And she said, I thank you so much because I never would have felt this way about myself and how I looked. And, she said that the 20-year-old guys are really digging me. She said, that's all because of you.
Nice.
So that was awesome. That makes me smile. That makes me feel like what I'm doing and the sacrifices that I make in order to do it are all worth it. They're not for naught.
Who's someone that should be a guest on this podcast?
Can I say Elon Musk, or is that too much? That's probably too much?
Is
Okay, I'll pick
he
somebody.
is he 40 or around there?
I'm sure. Yeah, I think he's like 43, right?
I mean, I think he's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
He would probably be a good guest, but we have a limit of same answers for multiple questions, and we've hit it with him, so it's got to be somebody else.
All right. For interview, I would say, gosh, this is a lot of pressure because it says something about your priorities in life. Let's see. I don't know. I think that I would say somebody who, I don't know, has overcome circumstances that are really hard and kind of has has something to say about resilience. I feel like that message is always good for people to hear. Um, Somebody returning from Afghanistan or somebody returning from a theater of war would probably be my answer because those experiences, none of us want them for sure, but probably won't experience them in under those circumstances. So that would probably be the person or persons.
Let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are plenty out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could have personally witnessed an event in history, what would you have? What would you want to have seen?
The March on Washington. That would have been. You talk about tipping points. You know, I mentioned earlier about how I wasn't sure what this period of our American society was going to say about us in the future and whether this was a harbinger of something to come. I feel like that was at that time a tipping point of the Civil War. Oh my God, Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, and a couple of my heroes were born out of that era. So I feel like that was something that I definitely would want to see, and you never forget that, of course.
A quick little fact: my mom was there, so
Really?
you could hang out with her. Yeah,
Wow. Does she drink wine?
she does.
Oh gosh. Okay, done. Wow. What did she say about it?
We can get into a
Okay.
whole new thing.
Quickly.
I'll tell you. Actually, I have an old podcast episode where I had her on as a guest, and I think we talked about it for a little bit.
Oh wow.
I can
Okay.
I'll try to dig that up for you after we get off here.
Yeah.
I have to modify this question a tiny bit, and you'll see why in a minute.
Okay.
When you think about success, who comes to mind and why, besides Elon Musk?
Such a killjoy. Uh, I would say. Tim Bezos.
Jeff.
Jeff Bezos. Yes. Jeff Bezos. I was merging Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss and Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Both acceptable answers.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
Uh, on the surface level, I'm afraid of snakes. There are millions of people that are afraid of snakes, of course. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of running out of time.
To do
I'm
what?
afraid of not being able to fulfill what I feel like I'm here to do and to be. And I have faith in a higher power, so I know that whatever happens is supposed to happen. But I fear that for my own selfish reasons, I'm not here long enough to do what I think I could. That would be a downer for sure.
Well, maybe you want to reconsider the 50 years or the 25-year
You know what?
question.
When you threw the kids into the bucket, that curveball. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I probably would change my answer. But
What's a quirk of yours that few people know about?
what's a quirk of mine? Define quirk.
Well, before you kind of alluded to one with the, the chewing, the chewing.
Yeah.
What are some others that people have said? I don't know. People had some weird ones. Some the last one we did when somebody leaves the house, they have to like check the locks to make sure that the door is actually locked. So
Oh,
they
so it's like a
leave,
personality
then
quirk.
they go back in the house just to like
Yeah.
make sure it's locked, just to do that. Or
Uh-huh.
someone was
Uh-huh.
one of the guys I had on was he has to make sure he puts the same amount of swipes of deodorant under each armpit. And if
Oh,
and if
I
he
have
and
OCD.
if he
Okay,
doesn't, he
yeah.
like thinks later. Oh, I have to go back into the bathroom and do like one more over here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So weird
Okay.
quirks like that.
Yeah, so yes, I do have OCD tendencies. Mine is really screwed up. It's even worse than hot dog water. So what I do, you know how you go to the store and you get something that's saran wrap that's either like a brownie and it's wrapped in saran wrap. Before, so I unwrap whatever it is. It's to call it a brownie. I cannot eat the brownie until I have unfolded and got every crinkle, every wrinkle, every the saran wrap has to be completely flat.
Hmm.
I cannot look at crinkled saran wrap. I cannot, and I love brownies. Like I would bathe in brownies. I cannot eat that brownie unless I completely. It is the most gnarliest, dumbest OCD you have ever heard. But for me, it's saran wrap.
But then don't you just
Ask any of my friends. It's horrible.
don't you throw the saran wrap out?
Yes, but only after it's it. Oh, once I have completely flattened it out and gotten all the little wrinkles and stuff, I can ball it up and throw it out. That's fine.
Right.
But
So
before, like, if there's even a corner, I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, just give me 1 second. Just let me. It is a. I am compelled. It is a sickness. I need help.
listen,
Please help me.
I mean, it takes discipline because you have a brownie just staring you in the face that you just bought, you took home from the store. It's just been
It could be
talking to
warm.
you.
It could
You're
be
like
warm.
waiting for it, and you just
It could be
still
warm, and I
hold
won't
out
eat
the
it.
extra what 2 minutes to because those wrappers are like they wrap it and
There.
wrap it and wrap it and
Oh
wrap it
yeah.
like way
Oh
so much overkill there. So
oh, it's a setup. And
yeah,
when if sometimes I do force myself to just, all right, stop it, stop it. But as I'm eating whatever it is that was in it, I keep looking at it, and I'm like, don't do it, don't look at it, don't look at it. It's bad. Pray for me. It's bad.
if you were hosting this podcast, what is one question that you would want to ask other 40-year-olds?
One question that I would ask other 40-year-olds if I were hosting this podcast is, uh, if you started a gang, what would the name be? Because
That
that tells you a lot about somebody, right?
what I can tell you is that's the first time that anyone answered with that answer. So it's original, and I'll consider now adding that to the queue of questions for further episodes. But my next question is, if you started a gang, what is the
Oh
name
no, that's not.
that you would choose for said gang?
That was a setup. Okay, let's see. Oy, oy. That's not fair. I thought the gang, what would the name be?
I can't believe that you that was your answer and you don't like it's not like an
No,
obvious you like have one in the bank that's oh well my
no,
gang would be
no, I don't. I have to think about it.
so you're curious about other people's gang names but you don't have one of your own. That's very interesting.
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. So something you said earlier, I think when it was what are you excited about? It's like whatever happens next. What do you think is next for JoJo St. Clair?
Well, I mentioned at the outset that I'm working on a couple of new projects for After the Carriage, and I'm really looking forward to growing the ability to create content that I feel is not out there or isn't out there in a way that I would do it. So I'm really excited to be about being more creative in presenting ideas in, of, and about fashion that present a new perspective to audiences. I hope that what I'm doing is allowing people to be a more conscientious consumer of fashion and obviously more confident. So just looking forward to presenting or creating new content that further pushes that message, that kind of allows people's attention spans to receive it in a manner that they can actually act on it. I think that we've gotten wrapped up in presenting things super fast or super like gimmicky so that people can latch on to something instead of just getting down to your kind of core idea and then being creative about how you present it, but not making it, a bunch of neon lights and like a Diddy video with like foil suits and stuff. Like sometimes you just need to take it down to the basics, but present some fresh information in a way that people can receive and like act on. So yeah, that would be my answer. Kind of like doing podcasts, keeping it simple.
Kind of, but shiny suit man isn't bad either. I don't mind.
I mean,
I don't mind the shiny suits.
It was a cool visual, but I'm so glad the 90s are over.
We've reached our final question, which is the same for all of our guests.
Mm-hmm.
What song did you choose to play us out here, and why did you choose it? And I'll add, it is an all-time classic, one of the classic anthems of our lifetime, in my mind.
Yes.
So what is it?
So I'll say why I chose it first, and then I'll say it. I chose this song because it came out during a time when I kind of started to come of age. I was, I think, 12 or 13 at the time.
Yeah, that's about
and
right.
it was just I really started to appreciate what kind of music I liked, not just what was popular. So this group was a group that wasn't necessarily pop culture popular, but I just dug it. And I dug into this song. I played, because we had tapes then, of course. Wait, no, I had a CD.
No.
I had a CD. Yeah, didn't I? Yes,
In 91?
No, was it 91?
Yeah, it came out 91, 92. Right then.
Okay, well, maybe I have both.
No, there were probably CDs. There were CDs then.
I think there were CDs.
There were CDs then. Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Thank you. So, on my audio playback device, I played it hundreds and hundreds of times. It's Scenario by A Tribe Called Quest. It will knock every time you play it. Even if it's been 20 years, it still knocks. It represents me coming into what I like as a typical kind of teenager, but it also kind of represents what was good about the 90s, and it's a classic. It's a super duper classic, and Tribe Called Quest is top 5 band of all time as far as I'm concerned.
They are absolutely top 5, and I'll tell you something which resonates exactly from what you were saying about, like that time in your life with me, and I've said this before, not on this podcast, but in other places. So like the few years before the Low End Theory album came out, I was like, I liked a little rap music. I liked a little of like the hair metal, like the Poison and Guns N' Roses stuff. Like I was I was always a musical fan and very into my music, but I always credit the Low End Theory album being the one that totally like put me on the course to
oh really
my rap fandom, and I never looked back after that album.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
We're on the same page here.
Yeah.
So here we go, yo. What's the
Please don't say it like that.
So how do you feel after your 40 questions?
I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like maybe I took the easy road out on a couple of them. But those are some hard, like you came out from left field with some of those doozies.
Listen, can't give them all up front. We have to make a little spontaneity, a little spice for life here. Can't make it too easy. But I think you did great. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too, and I hope everyone listening did as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. And thanks, Chris, for having me on. Where can people find you in the internet world? On the interwebs, you can find me at the JoJo St. Clair, at the, we know how to spell the. JoJo is JoJo
Saint St Claire Claire, and on my website after the carriage, as in baby carriage.com.
Awesome. So everyone, go check out JoJo. Say hi. Say happy birthday. When was your 40th birthday?
What's the 411? Let me know, son. See, I was born to love hip hop. My birthday's 411.
Is it? Very
It
nice.
is.
Very nice. Well, Mary J and Grand Poobah, I'm with you.
That's how I always tell people so they don't forget. I say, if you ever forget my birthday, it's because you hate hip hop.
I will not forget now. That's it. April 11th it is.
411. And
All
puppies.
right.
If you forget my birthday, you hate hip hop and puppies. So
two of my favorite things. So I'm glad we're cool.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Latest episode of Past the 40. Go check out Scenario as it plays us out of here.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, JoJo.
Ciao.